And this is Dad. Say hi, Dad.
She doesn't have to tell me to say hi. This is Cooking with Dad. I'm with Dad. I mean, I can do whatever I want. And if she thinks she can tell me to do stuff, she's got to...
Eventually.
Hi.
Or as they say in Mexico, hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está? Does that mean we've got a Mexican theme this time going on?
You know that's right. We are going to be celebrating Cinco de Mayo, and so we'll be making chips and dips.
So I'm dressed for the occasion.
Oh, jeez Louise. So whether you're planning a party or just kind of having a quiet game night at home, chips and dips are always the right option.
A lot of people don't know this, but I'm somewhat of a chip expert. And if she thinks she can teach me something about chips, I'm going to be watching very closely.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
The 70s called. They want their sunglasses back.
Very funny.
All right, let's dive in. So we are going to be making our own chips today.
Okay, so we can make our own chips.
Yes.
All
And
right.
the reason that we're going to do this is because they're going to be fresher, there's no chance of staleness, and we can choose what flavors we want in
I
them.
thought you just opened the bag and...
No, this
Yeah,
is
went
going to
for
be
it.
way better. And there's a couple different ways that we could
Cool.
do this. We are going to be baking them in the oven at 400. You could also fry them.
400 chips? That's a lot.
400 degrees.
Ugh.
And the reason that we're baking them is just that it's a little bit healthier. So you're going to
400
take
degrees of chips.
a pack of tortillas and cut it into eighths. You want nice chip-sized pieces.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So while I cut them, you can put them
Okay.
in the bowl. Kind of separate all of them and make sure they're not stuck together.
One for you, two for me, one for you. Here we go. All right. It's like dealing from the bottom of the deck. All right. Ace up her sleeve. Can't see a darn thing with these sunglasses on.
Now you could take them off.
No, not now. Not after you flew at me
You're committed.
about the sunglasses. I am committed to these sunglasses.
Get all of these in here. And
Pick up the
then
pace here, Dad.
we are going to be tossing these with olive oil.
Yep. Okay. All right.
So you're just going to drizzle about 2 tablespoons in.
Okay.
Salt. And you don't need to do too much salt at the beginning because when they come out of the oven, we'll resalt them.
Okay, because usually chips are pretty salty, right?
Yeah.
So you put as much pepper on as you put salt on.
I
At
do.
least that first go around. All
And
right.
then we're going to do quite a bit of garlic because there's a lot of chips in here.
Right, this is super simple. This is like dad friendly.
Oh, yes, super friendly. And then a good pinch of my favorite, dill.
Okay.
And then use the spatulas that God gave you. And you're just gonna toss these all together. You wanna make sure that you coat all of the chips with the seasoning. So you can see here we have a chip that has quite a heavy dose of the seasoning
Yeah,
on it.
right.
You wanna make sure you don't have that.
So look for those and then just kind of
Yeah, even it out throughout all of them.
Right.
So this looks pretty good. They're all fully coated, as you can see.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we're just gonna dump it onto our tray. Flatten them out. They don't have to be a perfectly flat level or layer. You can, they can be touching a little bit because we're gonna toss them while they're baking. We're gonna go over and stir them a couple times.
Okay.
But for the most part, spread out as much as you can.
Yeah.
And then that's it. These are just gonna go in the oven. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick.
A few moments later.
All right, well those are baking. Let's get started on the queso.
Em, did you know that mice are very religious?
Please don't do this.
In queso emergency, they pray to Jesus.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, let's get started. So for this queso, it's a queso blanco, which means we are using white cheese. I have 2 different types. I have an extra sharp cheddar and a Monterey Jack. I like the extra sharp cheddar because it's going to give a bit of a tang.
Yeah, okay.
So your job is going to be to grate the cheese
Oh, great.
every time. Okay.
Right.
There you go. You
Right.
can grate both of those and put them right into here when you're done.
All right.
And while you do that, well, I'll get that out of your way for you. I am going to open, these are just canned green chilies. You do not need to use the liquid that's on them, so I'm gonna go ahead and drain them. They add excellent flavor to a queso.
Are they really hot?
They're not super hot. They're going to be kind of a medium.
Okay. So I'm not a huge fan of hot.
Yeah, this isn't over the top at all.
All right. So what if somebody was a huge fan of hot? Could they substitute something else?
Yeah, you can buy these in spicy, or you could add in jalapeno, maybe some serrano.
I'm mixing this together, both cheeses?
Yep.
Okay.
You're just gonna find your favorite spicy pepper and add as much or as little as you like.
Got it.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and dump 1 cup of half and half into the pot with the chilies. I use half and half instead of milk because it's gonna make the whole thing just a little bit creamier.
Right.
You could use whole cream, but that's a bit decadent. So now you wanna measure out 2 cups of the cheese.
All right. So that's 16 ounces to you and me. I paid attention at 6:30. All right.
Yeah, you can squish it down a little bit.
Okay. And it's also right on the side of the measuring cup.
Perfect. And we only have a little bit of cheese left over, so we'll go ahead and just throw that right in here.
Okay. So just do the whole thing.
Yeah, because you know you can never have too much cheese.
Correct. You learned well.
Perfect. So we're going to add this straight in with the chilies and the cream. And then give it a good whisk. And this is just going to sit here on low heat and kind of all melt together. All right, so this is started, and it is time to move on to our next step, which is pico de gallo.
Ooh, pico de gallo. That's my favorite. Hey, you know what's larger than pico de gallo?
What?
A kilo de gallo.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Right.
It's time to chop. So you are going to start with the tomatoes. We have plum tomatoes on the vine. I love these because they're really juicy and super flavorful.
Right.
So you are going to cut these. I like to do stem side down.
Yeah.
You're going to cut them into 4 slices.
And they're just the right size to pummel your brother with. Right? I mean, you could get some zip on these things.
And then I use a serrated knife when I am slicing tomatoes because it cuts through the skin really easily and your tomato's not going to move around on you.
Okay, so for a simple man, a serrated knife is what, a bread knife?
A bread knife, yeah, it's the knife that has the jagged teeth.
Ah, okay. All right, very good.
And then cut those into little chunks and straight into the bowl.
Okay.
All right, you got it? And do all of those because we are going to use this pico as the base for our guac. It's going to be its own dish as pico de gallo, and then also it's going to be a garnish for our delicious queso.
Okay, got it.
And while you are working on that, I am going to go ahead and get the onion ready. This gets diced very fine. You do not want big bites of onion in any of your sauces. That would be just really sad, honestly. So I'm going to do a fine dice. And I'm going to do quite a bit of onion because this is going into our guac and our queso as well. So we're making a pretty large batch of pico compared to the other things that we're making today.
I don't think I'm cutting this as well as you did, but maybe I'm
That's okay. Practice
trying
makes
to go
perfect.
too fast or something.
Yeah, take your time. Practice is key.
There we go.
So you see here just kind of a nice fine dice.
Oh, that's pretty.
And it can go straight into the bowl with the tomatoes.
Eventually.
A couple tips when you're cutting a jalapeno.
Yes.
If you don't want it super spicy, you can remove the seeds.
Yes.
The seeds and the skin are the spiciest parts. You could char this over a flame and peel the skin off, and that would make it less spicy
So
as
like
well.
on the grill?
On
Like
the
a
grill.
Outdoor grill?
Yep, on the grill, or if you have a gas stove at home, you could put this right over the gas.
Not with your fingers.
Not with your fingers.
Just wanted to be clear for our audience.
We like it spicier, so we're gonna use about a thumb length of jalapeno, and we're gonna leave the seeds in.
Okay.
And when you go to wash your hands after this, because it is imperative that you wash your hands after using a jalapeno or any spicy pepper, You could use a spoon while you wash your hands, and that's going to remove all of the oils. Dish soap and a spoon removes all the oils, and you're not going to risk burning your eyeballs later when you forget that you've cut a jalapeno and rub your face.
Would be very helpful because your mom and I learned that the hard way years ago. We had a garden, and we did jalapenos in it, and I came in and chopped them, and then went up and rubbed my eyes.
I've done that before.
Yeah, you only do that once.
Yep.
And then you'll remember.
And it's the same thing for the cutting board. The cutting board is going to soak up all of this jalapeno juice as I'm slicing it. So we will scrub this down before we move on to our next dish.
So what is it about females and men writhing in pain? Because when I did that to my eyes, your mom fell on the floor laughing as I was, squirming in pain.
Oh, it's so bad. I do it to Steve all the time.
For my own stupidity.
Every time Steve bumps his head or anything like that, I can't help it. It makes me laugh.
I just think that's just dark.
Well, it's because I laugh when I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, all right.
All right, so the jalapeno goes right in there, and as you can see, it's quite a good amount. The avocado that we add to the guacamole is going to really kind of soften the amount of jalapeno, and then in the pico it'll be nice and strong.
Okay. This looks like it's going to be super fresh.
Oh, yeah. Once the tomatoes and jalapenos are in, we're going to squeeze half of a lime over top, and this lime doesn't want to be squeezed, so we're going to have to use both hands. And we're going to save the other half of the lime for the guacamole that we're making in a minute. There we go. Go in the trash.
You're actually getting better at this.
Yeah, you are. Doing great. Reach over. We're going to do a sprinkle of garlic. You could use fresh garlic in this if you wanted to. I'm using dried because we have it and it's easier.
Okay.
And then you're going to do about a tablespoon of chopped cilantro.
All right.
Now, some people don't like cilantro or think it tastes like soap. That's fine. You can skip it. I just think it really amps up the delicious factor.
Okay, great.
We are going to season generously with salt and pepper. And that looks beautiful.
That looks amazing.
I can't wait to taste it. All right, this pico looks great. Thank you. And now it is time to move on to my favorite, guacamole.
Oh, hey, Em, what do you call a religious avocado?
Holy guacamole.
Huh. You've heard that one before?
A couple times. Pass me an avocado.
Sorry. Okay.
All right, so this is actually going to be the easiest one that we make all day because we already have our pico made, which is most of the ingredients that go into avocado. This avocado go into guacamole besides avocado. We're going to remove the pit carefully. And we are using Carla avocados, or they can also be called Florida avocados. I like these because they're a little bit bigger, so you're going to get a little bit more flesh per avocado, and they also are a little bit sweeter.
I see. So a Carla avocado, that's not like a brand name, that's a type of...
That's a type of avocado. Okay, so very carefully, you're going to slice the avocado inside the shell.
But not through the skin.
You're going to slice the avocado. So I slice long and then across to kind of get little squares.
Little checkerboard pattern.
Yeah, it's going to make it easier to mash. And these are nice and soft. I bought them a couple days ago, and then yesterday I stuck them in a basket with a banana just to make sure that they were super ripe.
Yeah, they are. When I picked it up, it wasn't totally squishy, but you could tell it was soft.
Yeah, so the reason you can stick it with a banana is bananas let off ethylene gas, and that's what ripens up vegetables.
No way.
Yep.
What happens to the banana?
It stays the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
It doesn't get gassed?
No.
No.
Okay, so then you're just going to scoop these out, and the shell provides kind of a nice guide. You just kind of scoop it into the bowl, make sure you get everything out of the shell, and then you can do the next one. So scoop around and
Okay,
into
you
the bowl.
did that really nicely. I'm not sure mine's going to turn out so great, but here we go.
It's super easy. Just don't press too hard because you will press through the shell.
All right. There we go.
Beautiful.
Look like a novice. Rookie mistakes. Hey!
You did great.
All right, awesome. And the last one?
One more. Yep.
All right. You've heard that holy guacamole joke before.
Yeah, from you.
I thought that was original.
Like every time we have guacamole.
Oh, okay. Well, let that be a lesson to you.
Okay.
All right.
Squeeze the rest of this lime over it. Yeah, it's not the juiciest lime I've ever come across, but it will do the trick. Perfect. We're going to season it with salt and pepper.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit more. And then we are going to scoop some of our pico. Now, I like to make sure that I kind of drain the pico a little bit before I put it in so that we're not getting all of the juice in it. Leave the juice for the pico.
Well, that's a good idea. Right.
And the chunks for the guac. We'll do just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can use the spoon that we used to scoop to stir and kind of press and mash the avocado while you go. Okay. I am going to just stir our queso. It's getting nice and melty. Smelling delicious.
What am I doing with the mashing part?
It looks good. You want to just kind of leave a few chunks of avocado, but mostly mashed up. Ooh, man, I just love guac so much. Now you could mash the avocado until it was completely pureed. That is one way to do it. I like it with a little chunk of avocado.
So you just, to whatever your taste is.
Whatever your taste, yeah. All right, that looks perfect. And the queso is done. We're going to transfer it to a serving bowl. And we'll be back with some chips and dips.
And then we get to eat?
Then we get to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This guac is so good.
The chips are awesome. I didn't know you could make homemade chips. And the queso is excellent. That's why I kept it down on my end.
I thought you might approve of these.
This is totally changing my life.
I'm glad.
You know, if I wasn't the eye candy on this show, I would leave a like and subscribe right now.
Nice transition. Well, this week has been super fun, and I can't wait to do it again next week. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe, and leave a comment below with any recipes that you want to see Dad and I try. Until next time, I'm Chef M, and this is Dad. Say bye, Dad.
Bye, Dad.
I smeared my glasses. I smeared my glasses. Did I really? Did I get it? No, bro.
Good.
Well, closer now than ever. You better not have the COVID.